I just got back from watching Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was thinking that maybe this would be a good time to not only make my first YouTube video, but also to just kind of express my thoughts on it. First thing I just kind of want to say is like when I first saw the trailer, I was a little bit skeptical. The thing that made me most skeptical though is, as we all know, there's a big problem with spoilers on TikTok for pretty much any movie. If you don't see it that day, uh, you're probably gonna see a spoiler if you're just scrolling through TikTok. If it's a big movie, obviously. But I would see some like movie scenes and stuff. Just movie scenes that made me feel a little bit skeptical. Um, so I was still feeling a little bit on edge. So I think I kind of went in with low expectations, which, to be fair, might kind of blind my thoughts on the movie, but that's besides the point. First we were watching it, I was kind of expecting it to be a horror movie because that's just originally what I thought it was going to be, more like horror based. Um, but it was a very deep movie. Uh, One thing I do want to start out with is number one, the cinematography in that movie is actually pretty freaking decent. So the scenes where Mike is having the visions, because his little brother died, so he's been having some visions, especially when he's working his night shift. There are just some really good, well shot scenes in there. I just want to say though, Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard, they did a really good job acting. I think those two out of majority of the cast, actually, in my opinion, were kind of the standout points for me when they were on screen. Their presence was very attention grabbing and very full of character. The actress who played Vanessa, she did a fairly decent job. I think there was one point though where that kind of made me feel a little weird about Vanessa. She didn't really get a good explanation of why she didn't want the kid playing around with the animatronics anymore. Or at least we did get an explanation, but I still don't think it justifies when she looks at Mike and goes, if you bring your sister here again, I'll shoot you. And it's like, okay, that's kind of dramatic. I mean, if they gave us a little bit more like backstory on her, or a little bit more of like reasoning of why she would say something like that, it would make sense. Um, but it was just kind of confusing, you know. Um, the only thing I was gonna mention though that was kind of a con was there was a scene that kind of made me realize what kind of movie I was watching. The fort building scene. Obviously, everybody's kind of been talking about it and seen what I'm talking about. I wasn't thinking the animatronics were going to be taking the route that it was taking by the directors or by the company. Maybe just watching too much analog horror for Five Nights at Freddy's made me have a different view of the animatronics. Lore wise, I think the lore was pretty good. I think there was a few elements. Obviously, Five Nights at Freddy's lore is all over the place, as you probably know. Um, I mean, there were some elements in there where it was just kind of like, I don't remember it being that way, or nothing terrible. Animatronics, the suits look great. I think Foxy was a really standout point too. He definitely the one who I think from what I've heard on set was actually the only one that was an animatronic. The other ones were suits and such. They did a really good job with all of them. I think the spring trap suit looked really good. Obviously, it wasn't at the spring trap point. The suit wasn't quite ripped up as it is in the third game, um, but it still looked really good. I think storyline was fairly decent. There were some plot points where I thought they could have taken a different route. The soundtrack, I want to say, was pretty decent. Obviously, we got the OG Five Nights at Freddy's song at the end rolling through the credits. I think the set design was really good. I think they did a really good job, especially on the outside of the Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. I think it looked really good. The inside looked really good too as well. Only thing I do want to mention too is the only part of the movie that I felt like the pace kind of was slowing down was when they would bring it up the children's spirits. think there could have been a different way that it could have been taken besides the dream element. I would get that actually in Five Nights at Freddy's there are a lot of dream element aspects in the game. But for me, I just feel like there's definitely different routes that could have been taken. I know I've seen plenty of movies that have expressed that kind of same idea in a movie and executed it pretty well without pace slowing down. Five Nights at Freddy's was a pretty good, decent movie. Definitely, probably would go and maybe see it again if I had my nephews and nieces. Don't think it's one I'd probably be watching by myself again. But hopefully they make 2 or 3 more. Definitely would go back into theaters and watch those. Um, but yeah, please let me know how you feel about my first movie review. You know, if you think I had some wrong opinions, obviously opinions are just opinions. Please let me know what you got. Go ahead and write in the comments if you have any ideas about the movie or your thoughts. And just let me know how you think I did for my first YouTube video. If there's any other movies that you'd like me to review, just let me know. Yeah, see you guys. Have a good one.